You didn't see that. But
He wants to know what you're.
I think we're just missing Anna and Ruth, I think, are coming. Thanks, Bridget. Okay, I think we'll get started because we have a full meeting. Bridget chatted the notes if you didn't get them off of the calendar invite. So open those up. We'll walk through those together. I'm Professor Patrice Conrath, so I'm in charge of Math Lab and CS Lab. You'll all be working with CS Lab, and so we're excited to have you join in. We've got a few of our regular tutors and managers that are going to help us with some of the training tonight. Bridget Rands can wave. She has done some greeting before last fall and over interim, and so we are going to learn some little tips from her. Joran up there is our Zoom expert, and he also works as a sub for CS Lab. So he's those two are going to help with some training at the end because we really want to have you get some hands-on training for trying this all out together. So the greeters, you're all listed there, and we're glad to have you join us. I think we're only missing Anna, but it looks like everybody else is here, so that's great. We will be starting this tomorrow night, so that's why we have the training here right at the last moment to get you going. CS Lab has had variable attendance. It's gone up and down. Last fall, we found that over the semester, we had very few students attending at the beginning, and then at the end, we had a huge rush. And that's when the projects get more interesting and complicated, and that's when the students came in. So I kind of wanted to be proactive this spring, because last fall we had to just quickly kind of pull together some people to help us. And so that's why I wanted to be proactive this spring, to have some extra people serving as these greeters to help get students in and help to manage the breakout rooms that we'll be using as well. So for all of Math Lab and CS Lab, we kind of have this little acronym GGSS that we throw back and forth to each other that has helped us keep the focus, especially when the all the details get to be too much. We like to refocus on this GGSS, glorifying God and serving students, to be kind of our main focus and the thing that we return to, because I feel like if we do that, then everything else will fall into place. So a good verse there from 1 Corinthians 10:31, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do everything for the glory of God. So next point is things may change. So we will start with our best guess for how things will go and how we will use you and how things will work. We may modify things as we go. We may change some of your roles or how you do them. I'd love to hear back from you as well. And Anna, Joran, and Bridget, I just thought of that right before this meeting. I didn't realize, well, they probably don't have any way to give me comments. So I exposed that they could talk to the lead tutor and just give some comments at the end. So that might be the best way to do it here at the beginning. But we'll love to get your feedback and to hear how things are going and what you find to be helpful. So far this semester, the attendance has been very low. So I kind of look at that as an opportunity for you to ease into this. So at the beginning, we'll just have you learning. So because there won't be very many students at the beginning, you can start practicing. So you can, with your tutors, practice doing some of the breakout rooms and things like that that you'll be doing. You can also get to know them, because it'll be nice if you get to know your team and can work with one another, share cell phone numbers and things like that, so that you're a team that's working together as well. For the pay, you're hired through the Ask Office. So Vicki Sanford is your supervisor, and she would be the one who you would go to with any questions for pay. But your timesheet will be under the instructional support timesheet. So this is the COVID contracts that you may have heard of. The reason we're kind of adding you on is due to COVID. Normally CS Lab is in a excuse me, physical lab. So tutors can wander around, look over shoulders and see code and things like that. And so it makes it a lot easier to help multiple students. So since we don't have that, you're kind of serving as an additional kind of traffic flow manager to help the tutors to be able to serve as many students as possible. So that's the contract that you'll use. So be careful with that, especially if you have other Ask tutoring jobs, that you pick the right one for your pay. And you can put this meeting on your timesheet for tonight. And if you have any questions about any of that, Vicki is the one who set up all of those timesheets and can help you with questions as well. Except for this week. So this week, we just want you to use the whole time, no matter what. But after that, if you have like no one come or 1 to 2 people come, we'll have kind of a half-hour rule that we want to pay you for a half an hour, even if you don't do anything. So you should have a half hour of pay for your time of inconvenience for coming. But after that, you can leave and the tutors can handle the rest of the session. I already talked about that. It's slow so far. We'll see how things go this semester. The logistics and schedule. So I think everybody, and if you want to turn your cameras on, it'd be fun to see your faces, but I think you're all meeting physically. Allison, I think, is the only one that I've heard from who will be meeting online. If you're not able to go physically, let me know about that so we can let your tutors know this. But the tutors, without any students, will be meeting in CC 230. It's a Math CS lab that's in near our department, the Math CS department. That door, if it's locked, there's some phone numbers that you can call to get it unlocked. We had a little trouble at the beginning, but I think that that's now resolved. You'll be working with 1 or 2 students, so you can go to this link here that's in the notes. That's the schedule link. And you'll see that the schedule has multiple tabs along the bottom. The first tab that will come up is a meetings and dates tab, and that's just kind of nice to see because you can see when things are going to be open or closed. You might want to go down and look at kind of to the right of that black line. There's the CS Lab version for students. So you can see CS Lab opens on February 14th. Last day is May 13th. Spring break, how that's going to work. The last session will be Thursday, March 11th. And we'll reopen on the Monday night afterwards. And then there's the Easter break dates as well. So that's good for you to put on your calendar so you know when we'll be meeting. The next tab over to the right is the CS Lab schedule. If you scroll down a little ways, you will see the nights that you're scheduled to work and the people that you're working with. And so hopefully that agrees with what you thought. Let us know if there's any problems with that right away. But you should be listed there with the date that you're starting. I already, oh, there, yeah. So the dates you're starting are given also with your name, which is basically this week. And then one more tab over to the right of that one is the Zoom links. So this is the way that we're going to have you join each session by using these Zoom links. And so make sure that you can find those and use those to start into your Zoom sessions. So Ruth is another one of our Math and CS Lab managers, and she's worked with setting up a lot of these links and the logistics of it. She's the one that you sent or gave her scheduling permissions so that she could schedule you. Ruth, remind me then, are they co-hosts or how did that work with how they're set up?
Yeah, they're co-hosts, so they'll be able to start the session and like have control over the meetings.
Okay. So those are the 3 tabs kind of the schedule. Any questions from anybody yet on anything? I'm kind of through number 5 then in the notes. I'm told you're all wonderful, bright people, so I'll just keep plodding on. Okay. So when to call the on-call tutor. You'll notice that as you look at the schedule that there is an on-call person. Obviously, we're pretty light in our attendance now, so we'll not need that, but you'll want to talk. You might even talk with your group this week about how to set up a protocol or how you're going to signal one another when they need that additional help. So you'll want to make sure that you've got some protocols, and we might even develop some of those as we go if it does end up getting really busy. Sub procedures. Thank you. Some of you are already starting to fill this in. Fill in, I gave you the link that I gave in the calendar invite as a writable link. So you should have the ability to edit right there and add your phone number and PO. These are just the columns we have on our normal personnel list. It's just interesting to see when you graduate if we can use you again in a tutoring capacity. But the phone number will probably be the most important so that you can get a hold of one another if needed or text one another. For subs, if you're sick or have a conflict, look ahead, in your schedule. We try not to have subs very often because it's a pretty, delicate balance. We've made the schedule very carefully to make sure we've got one greeter each night. But if you know of a conflict, try to figure that out as soon as possible. If you're quarantined, you can possibly continue to work. So sometimes we will just have you continue to work and just work remotely. So email me if that happens to you and you would like to do that. And we'll see if that can work out for your night as well. If you have any problems with getting a sub, so your group here will be who you will work with to try to get somebody to take a shift if you need a sub. So that's why this personnel list will be important. But if you have any problems with that, let me know and I can try to help you in getting a sub. When you do get a sub, email with a night to myself, the tutors for your night, so they know who is going to be coming instead. Ruth Livingston, just in case there's any kind of issues we need to work out with the Zoom links. And also Vicki Sanford, she watches the schedules very carefully. So let her know if you made any changes because she'll watch that on your timesheets. Okay, greeting notes. I just have a couple quick things here and then Bridget may add some more because she's kind of been the boots on the ground in that position, but just a few notes to be ready, to get everything all set up right away so that you are ready to greet people as they join the session. Be really friendly with them and prompt and professional. It was kind of fun to hear Bridget's reaction after the first time she did it. She said, oh, that was just fun to talk with people as they came in and kind of encourage them and get them into breakout rooms and things like that. Find out which class they're there for tutoring. So CS Lab serves many classes. You'll see that at the top of the schedule. You'll find that there is one class that is historically the one that comes the most, and that's the object-oriented programming. So that's probably who you're going to serve the most, but ask students as they come in and you might get to know some of the regulars as well. And then see if they came with a pair or if they're just by themselves. So sometimes they'll have projects where they're working with a pair as well. So they'll want to be placed into a breakout room together. Did you guys ever do that even if they were just working together, put them in a breakout room together? Okay, so find out some of that initial information as you go. So I'm going to pass things over to Bridget next for more. And Bridget, you can even just talk a little bit more about what that was like doing the greeter job last fall and over interim before you dive into the notes as well.
Yeah, so I am a math lab tutor, but I am not a CS lab tutor. So jumping into a CS lab position, I was kind of like, oh my goodness, what's going on? But as a greeter, it's really chill. Like you just get to see everyone as they come in and kind of like hear their stories and just kind of talk to them a little bit. A lot of the time they're just kind of like confused and so just kind of talking to them and sometimes asking them what they're doing and then see if they can kind of explain it will make something click and then they're like, oh, I know what to do now. And then you can solve their problems, which is kind of cool because knowing nothing about CS lab and or CS and you can help them. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, just greeting them as they come in. You will be admitting all of the students in because there will be a waiting room. So you will be admitting them in and then figuring out, like Professor Conrad said, if they're working with a pair or what project they're working on, what class they're from, and kind of sorting them out that way. Once they're all kind of sorted out, it gets really easy and you don't really have to do anything. But it's really nice to just kind of hang out with them and see what's going on and see how they're feeling about the class too. And just making connections with them outside of that one class too. You can say, like Professor Conrad was saying, like I just got to hang out with them and I was talking to them about all their other classes and when they're going to graduate and what they think about the class. And we were talking about how I'd never been to a broom ball game before. So like there are different connections that you can have that don't have to be like, oh, what are you working on? Like, how can I help you? Because odds are likely that you're probably not going to be able to help them a whole lot until you put them in their breakout rooms. But as the greeter, you will be an alternative host. So both you and the lead tutor are going to be able to start the session. So that will automatically be started if you're logged in and you're going to make sure that you're using your Bethel Zoom. That way that gets sorted out. So we want you to be there about 10 minutes early just so you can get everything open and set everything up. Because of the waiting room, there won't be other students in there, but you can see the tutors come in, or if the tutor is already there, then you can kind of work together to set everything up before you start letting them in. So we're going to say starting to let students in at most about 2 minutes before the start time, just so we have like a consistent start time, or whenever you're ready for that part. Then when you're setting things up, you're going to make sure that you are making breakout rooms because that's where all of our classes will be kind of organized by. And I always found that I needed way more breakout rooms than I thought I would need. So my kind of saying is make at least 4 more breakout rooms than you think you will need. So we kind of said 10 there, but if you're going through it and you're saying, oh no, we need a lot more, just know that you can only make breakout rooms at the start of your session. And once you open them, you can't add more unless you close everything, and that sends everyone back to the main room. So you're going to want to make sure you have lots of them just in case. If you have partners that come in, you'll fill rooms up really quickly, as I found out. So that can be helpful to have a lot more breakout rooms than you will need. And then also just talk with the tutors for that night to see if they want a certain set of rooms designated for certain courses. So you could have within your like main room, you could have like a waiting room for your 105, or you could have a room for whatever other courses there are. You can talk with your tutor, your lead tutor about that. And then also figuring out where you want or where the tutor wants to be, and you'll be assigning them to all the different rooms. So if you want them, or if they want to stay in one room and then you just move all the students into their room, or if you want the tutor to move around to the rooms, you can work that out with your tutor as well. And then one other thing that I found really helpful for me when I was letting everyone in was to have a separate document pulled up so I could do like a spreadsheet or a Google Doc, and I would type their name, what time they got here, and then if they like what tutor they worked with, if there's more than one tutor, and then the timeout. The timeout is really helpful, especially on Zoom. because we don't really have a way for them to like scan out their ID. There is a way that they can press a sign out button in Tutor Labs, which is our main way of figuring out attendance, but oftentimes they don't end up following that. So it's helpful for the tutors, and it's helpful for Professor Conrath, who gets a million emails, to make sure that you are keeping track of the times in and out of everyone. That way you can go back in and the lead can edit that for you. So yeah, that's kind of like a brief overview of kind of what you will be doing. So setting up the students in their breakout rooms, moving people around if they need, and just being a friendly face when people walk in. That way you can greet them and make them feel like they're a part of this community that you're trying to build in CS Lab. So I'm gonna pass it off to Joran. He will kind of go through the specifics and the nitty gritty with the Zoom techniques here.
And I might just jump in quick between here. One thing that I realized we didn't put in here just because it's so well known to all of us is just maybe to let you all know, and maybe I'll just put a little note in here, that students, and also in case anybody asks you about this, we'll go to tutorlabs.bethel.edu, and then they'll go to the computer science section, and then they'll do the join virtual part. So there is no face-to-face, so they'll go there and join virtually through that portal kind of. And where they'll be taken to first is our Tutor Labs attendance. And so they'll take attendance, they'll sign themselves in through the Tutor Labs, and at that point they're given the Zoom link, and then they click on that Zoom link and come into your session. The one thing at the very end when people are done is to remind them to go back to that Tutor Labs and sign out, because then that will give them a timestamp so that the prof and all of us know how long that they actually were in the session. And then that's what Bridget was talking about, is students forget that. And so you can kind of help by giving ending times to the tutor. This is a layer we might add on later to your job that you can help us to edit some of those attendance records. But for now, you could just tell the tutor what some of those times were. Okay, sorry, Joran, you can take it away.
I have a problem with the question, if that's okay. Question. So just to clarify, there is no in-person CS lab, right? So
Correct.
they can't go to separate rooms. We're putting them in separate rooms. Okay,
Correct.
perfect.
All
Thank you.
virtual thank you for asking. Ask any clarifying questions if you have them. So the students are all coming virtually. The tutors are often meeting in CC 230, except for Sunday night, which worked out well, Allison, because some of the tutors are not coming that night. But otherwise, they found that it actually is helpful to be in the same room for tutoring together and being that greeter together, because then you can just talk with one another and talk about what's going on and help to monitor the session. So that's why we've got the component in CC 230 just for the tutors. Okay. Any other questions before Joran goes? Okay, take it away, Joran.
All right. Well, so as Professor Conrath mentioned, I kind of handle more the Zoom specific side of things. So if you're with me on point 11 of the notes, the first thing that we'll go through is normally this wouldn't be in our notes, and I didn't think it was a thing anymore until apparently a couple of days ago we had this issue with someone in the business help labs. So make sure you are a part of the Zoom organization or the Bethel Zoom org, because that will save a lot of problems for us when you're actually greeting. So if you're not sure how to do that, basically you just go to zoom.bethel.edu. It'll take you through the steps. If you run into a hitch at any point, just let me or check out this little Confluence article that we have here. Moral of the story is just get that squared away before the night of a CS lab and you'll be okay.
And I actually sometimes have this happen to me just because I use my personal account for a Bible study on Wednesday nights. So on Thursday morning, I always have to make sure, okay, I'm over to Bethel again. So watch for that if you happen to use a personal Zoom account, that always when you're tutoring. And this can be a problem for students as well. So if they're having problems or complaining to you, make sure that they are using the Bethel Zoom.
And so point B, and I think Ruth, could you send out an email to them in the
She
same
did.
way that, okay, you already did.
Mhm.
All right, so you guys should have an email from Ruth just outlining how to do this, but based off of how we've decided to organize all of our Zoom sessions, we need your guys' scheduling privileges for Zoom. You don't necessarily need to know what that is, just you can very robotically click through the steps that Ruth sent you and just leave the rest up to us.
Do you have
Okay.
everybody done, Ruth?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, great. Mhm.
Perfect. Proud teacher. Point C, admitting students into the Zoom meeting. This is just something to be aware of as you're greeting. For CS Lab, we do like to have waiting rooms on, which we don't normally do for Math Lab. And that just helps us sort of regulate the flow of students coming in and out. So there's actually a point lower down about having a doorbell. You can, if you'd like, there's a little screenshot down there, but it can play a noise if somebody's been admitted or not admitted, they're waiting for you to admit them. But basically, it's pretty much your job. But like, just be aware of who's trying to come in and out, and it'll give you notifications to admit people. Best thing to do for this is just on the side, have the participants tab open at all times, and it'll show you who's waiting to come in. So yeah, I guess have participants open, it helps. And then placing students into breakout rooms. You will have some hands-on practice here with this in a second, because I know a lot of you are probably just students in class when you use Zoom. This isn't super complicated. You guys will pick this up very quickly. But the idea is you have a little breakout button at the bottom. You open up however many breakout rooms that you want, and you as the host are the one who's responsible for moving everybody around. The co-hosts in the meeting will have some abilities to move themselves in and out of their own breakout rooms, but basically you are in charge of putting people where they need to be. I won't go at length about what this looks like because it's better if you actually see it. But the idea is if somebody comes in, you have to actually select them from a list and put them in specific rooms. And like, it's all up to you basically. So yeah, you'll get to see this here in a second. And down below, I've already mentioned the doorbell, but like there's also different things where you can chat with people. I'm sure you're familiar. Broadcasting a message. I doubt you guys will use broadcasting messages unless you want to say like, hey, there's 5 minutes left in CS Lab. If you guys want to explore these additional features, power to you. Go for it. They won't be super crucial compared to the other stuff. So I think that's all I have for Zoom.
Yeah, number 12 there. So he was kind of highlighting the things that you're going to need the most, and they're going to show you this in a minute. So if you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know any of that, you're going to actually try this out with them in a little bit, and they'll have each one of you try it out and be the host. So some of these other features are things that you can add to your arsenal as you go and learn, like next week when you have lighter, we're assuming we'll have lighter attendance, you can try out some of these things as well. That number 12 as well is kind of a note for later. We might refer you to this later on. So far, we haven't added you to our Tutor Labs attendance application. We're just having you go directly in with the Zoom links from the schedule. But later on, we might add that so that you could do some editing of student attendance and things like that. So before we have you dive in, because at that point, you'll probably do a bunch of practice and then leave from there. This is probably the last time for questions with this whole group, although feel free to email any of us questions that you might have later on if something comes up. But for now, before we dive into those practice sessions, does anybody have any questions? Or anyone want to add anything? Okay, sounds good then. So, so the first thing again is to recognize that normally you're going to use the link that's on the schedule for your night. That will be a specific schedule link. So make sure that you get the right one for your night, because there's different Zoom links each night. We do that so that students get in the habit of going through Tutor Labs and don't just always use the same Zoom link. So we kind of hold those as confidential because we want them to go through that attendance system. But for you, you'll go to the schedule and you'll use the Zoom link to start into things. Today, we're going to have you go into 2 different sessions. Bridget's going to stay with the people that are listed there, Allison, Michelle, Sarah, stay right in this same meeting. And Joran, your group is going to leave this session and then start into that link that's given in the notes there. And before you leave and are done with practicing with either of them, make sure that you understand how to admit students from a waiting room, how you can make breakout rooms, and how you can put students or tutors into breakout rooms. Those are kind of the main 3 skills that we want you to acquire. So if you feel uncomfortable or have any questions, make sure you stop them, make sure you make them practice with you a little bit more, or find out any questions with that, because those will be the 3 main functionalities that you're going to need to do with your job. Okay.
Does anybody not have access to the document that they're not able to find that Zoom link? Or is everybody on there that you can just follow me? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Or you'll go into a black hole.
And if you stay in this meeting, then suspicious.
Staying in this meeting is where I'm leading it, so.
Okay, so does everybody understand the next steps? You're going to, those of you who are in Joran's group, you'll have to leave this Zoom session first so that you can then join that other session, and then he'll lead you through the practicing there. And the rest of you just stay in here with Bridget and she will lead you through doing that. Do you want a couple, like Joran, do you want Ruth or?
Yeah, give me Ruth.
Okay, Ruth, why don't you go with Joran so that you can be tossed around like a student. And Anna, can you stay here then? They'll move you around as well here. Okay, any final words or anything I missed, Joran or Bridget? Sounds good. Any last questions? Okay. If you think of questions later on, feel free to email me. Otherwise, you all starting tomorrow night. So make sure you look at the schedule and use this week to get to know your tutors and to get to know some more of these skills. And again, keep in touch with me too. You can send messages to me. The lead tutors at the end of their session, they close the session and they put some comments there. So if you have anything to pass on, like, oh, you have this idea or you have this question, that's a good way to send comments to me. Otherwise, just directly email me as well to send any questions or comments that you might have in the future. Okay, sounds good. Let's break. So I'm going to hang around and watch so I can learn.
All right. Professor Conrad, can you give me host privileges? Yes, Allison?
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I have a quick question that I just thought of.
Yeah.
So we use the link on Tutor Labs, and that makes us a co-host, but we have to be hosts to do basically everything we're gonna have to do for Zoom. So once we get into the meeting, someone in the meeting will make us a host then?
Yeah, so if you are not automatically the host, which you should be set up to be a host, if you're not the host right away, you can ask the other tutor and they can make you host. So I just asked Professor Conrath to make me the host, and you will get to play with that as I make you guys host and you guys will make each other hosts as well. So we'll kind of play around with that. So you'll get the feel of that.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, great question.
Do you want me to, or Anna, go out and come back in so we can see a waiting room?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Do we have the waiting room on? Here we go. Okay. So I have enabled the waiting room now, so we should be good to go with that.
And where did you do that?
Only I have the ability to do that right now because I'm the
Oh,
host.
okay.
Yep.
So where is it found in case they need to find that?
Down at the very bottom, there are 3 dots. And then where we found the play sound when someone joins or leaves, there's also enable waiting room.
Okay.
So you can enable it or you can disable it depending on your preference.
And this was weird because this was just a meeting that I made, but I know that Ruth has enabled waiting rooms for all of your sessions. So that should be something that's already set up.
Yeah. All right. So who would like to be the host first? Who wants to try it out? You're all going to get to try it out, but
Or do you want to show us and move us around first?
I can't really show you because I can't show my screen.
Oh, right. Mhm.
So you kind of just have to jump into it.
Okay.
But I'll walk you through it.
I can start.
All right. So Sarah, I'm going to make you the host here. And then all right. So Sarah, I just made you the host. So now you have controls over everything. So right now, when you pull up participants, you should be able to see that Anna is in the waiting room. So then you can just press the little button that pops up next to her name that says admit, and she would be able to come in. Bam, you did it. All right, so that's how you admit people. Okay, now to make breakout rooms, you can go down to the bottom tab. There's a little breakout rooms button. And if you're not in a full screen, it might not show up.
Yeah, I found it.
Awesome. So then you're going to want to manually assign, and then you can create like 10 rooms. And then you should be able to open the rooms.
Do you have a preference of how many like people I assign per room?
It doesn't matter.
All right, sweet.
It's up to you. You're in control.
So I assigned the rooms, and then am I able to just open them?
Yep, you should be able to
Alright,
open.
Right.
Yeah, so now we all got notifications, and then once you've opened the rooms, if someone new were to come in, their name will come up at the top, and you'll be able to assign them that way. So they don't have to be assigned right when you open them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then does that make able to move people around? Am I gonna have to use that during tutoring labs?
Yes, there is a potential for you to do that. So let's see. Anna and Michelle, would you want to hop in your breakout rooms real quick? That would be great. All right. Were they both in the same breakout room or were they in different ones?
No, they were in different ones.
Okay. You can try switching them, or you could say over there, right by their name, there's a button and you can say, I want to move them to a specific room, and you can say what
Gotcha.
room number you want to move them to.
Okay, sweet.
And from
Okay.
there, they would get a new invitation to invite them to
Yeah.
a new room.
All right, that is awesome.
Yeah.
And then would you like me to close the rooms and have them come back?
Yeah. You can also
Alright.
try broadcasting a message. When you open the breakout rooms, you can say at the bottom, there's a blue button that says broadcast a message. And you can try broadcasting a message to everyone. You can say, hey, or anything you want.
Come back to the main room.
Okay.
Come back to the main room. I saw it. Nice.
Good.
Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Cool. Do you have any questions about that process or anything like that?
Nope, it seems pretty easy. Oh, yeah, I have one. So
Yeah.
should I have like just like a class that I assign to like each room, or is that something like I'm gonna go over with the tutor whenever I'm there?
Yes. Yeah. So well, depending on who your tutor is, they might want things a different way, but you can kind of work that out the first day. But typically it's nice to have like one for each class and then one that the tutor can bop in and out of, or
Okay.
if you just have a bunch of people all for the same one, you can have them in different rooms for their, if they're working with a partner, that way they can share their screen and that sort of a thing.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna close the rooms.
Yep.
Maybe Allison, do you need to get to tutoring soon? Should she try it next? Are
Yeah.
you tutoring tonight?
I'm like a Zoom TA for 2 different classes so far, so I know how to do everything. So if you want me to,
Okay, good.
I can. Otherwise, I already know how to do it. I don't have to.
Okay, great. No,
So-
good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you feel comfortable with it, then that's great.
You're awesome. Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips to tell us?
I mean, we kind of just went through everything. You kind of just gotta play with everything, and you figure out what all the buttons do. So yeah, don't be afraid to kind of play with your buttons and figure it out.
Yeah. Great. All right, Sarah, do you want to make Michelle the host so she can try things out? So down at the bottom of the participants, or right next to the name, you should be able to make Michelle the host. If you click on the more next to her name. Perfect. All right. Anna, would you be able to leave and then come back again so Michelle could admit you? Thanks. All right, so Michelle, you are the host now, and you'll hear a little like beep beep when Anna comes into the waiting room.
Okay, sounds good.
Just gonna have to find the link again. Oh, she just came right in. Anna, did you have a waiting room?
Yeah, I did. It said the host let me in.
Oh, perfect. I didn't hear the like admit sound,
Okay.
so perfect. All right. So then, Michelle, do you want to try making some breakout rooms?
Sure.
So down at the bottom, there's a tab for breakout rooms. And then again, you can manually assign, make however many rooms you want. More is better. And then you can assign people now, or you could assign people later once you've opened them.
Okay. And then should I open the rooms?
Yep, then you can open the rooms.
Okay.
All right, and so we got some invitations here. So let's see. Allison and Sarah, do you want to head to your breakout rooms? And then Michelle, you can try moving them around, or you could try reassigning them to different rooms. So for that, you'll just click over by their name once they're in their room, and then you can say move to or reassign to, and then a different room. Or you could say, I think you can also have them come back here.
Okay, I get how to move people.
Nice.
That works.
All right, do you want to try broadcasting a message?
Sure.
So on the breakout room kind of window, there's a blue button that says broadcast a message. You can type
Okay.
whatever you want in there.
Okay. Should I just have them come back to the main room?
Sure.
Okay.
I saw it pop up. And here they are. Nice. All right. Does that feel good? Do you have any questions or anything like that?
No, I think it's all good for now. Yeah.
Sweet. Pretty simple, but there are a lot of buttons, so it's figuring out which ones are the right ones sometimes. It's a little confusing, but just play around with it and you'll get it. So nice. Well, if Allison, if you feel good, and Sarah and Michelle, you guys feel good as well, then I think we are all good. You know all of the steps here.
Great. Well, any last questions or anything else you wanted to try? And again, you'll have time to practice. I'm just composing with Anna a little list of things to tell the other CS tutors. I've got a little laundry list. I'm going to tell them how to tell you how they want to do breakout rooms. Tell them to make you host right away if they start. Tell them how to give you ending, or how you can give them ending times for students. And then how you can do comments at the end. So I'll give them a heads up about some of those things too, but you can be talking with them this week about how they really want to run your particular sessions. So
I have a quick question with, so is there one link? So since CS Lab, they're all coming to us and then we're putting them into breakout rooms, there should just be one link on Tutor Labs for them to sign into, right then?
right.
Okay.
Yep. So they'll be given the link that is on our schedule once they sign into Tutor Labs. Anything else? Okay. Well, good. Well, thank you. We really appreciate you taking this on. And like I said, I have a feeling before spring break, you'll be pretty slow, which will be kind of a nice way to ease into it. But as the semester gets busy, if it's like last fall was and over interim, we got pretty busy. And so it will be nice to have somebody there that can help to direct the traffic, help students ease anxiety and things like that as well. So really appreciate you doing this. Okay, well, good. Well, thanks so much and have a good rest of your evening. I'll talk to you later.
Have a good
Bye.
night.
Do I have to make someone else a host
Oh,
before
yeah,
I
I'm
leave?
gonna
Like to.
have one of us the host.
Yeah.
Before you leave, and then we can make our little email to the CS tutors.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I didn't like mess anything up.
Thank you.
Okay, it should have worked now, right?
Yes.
I think.
Somebody else.
Michelle.
Oh, I am. Yep. Okay. Good.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you for
Thanks,
thinking of
guys.
that. I thought of that as everybody's leaving. I was like, oh man, who was the host? So thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye. Here, I'll chat you, Bridget. I chatted to Anna.
Okay.
Um,
And I do have to get going shortly because I
oh yeah,
have
you've got to
meet-
go to Tutor
Yeah,
too.
I have to go to Tutor.
So let's see. Tell them. Oh, there's what I was gonna say. Yeah, how many great breakout rooms to make for the night based on, and also how you prefer to use breakout rooms. Did people like just do breakout room 1, 2, 3, or would they sometimes do it by class, or what did they usually do?
I was only there during interim when there was one class.
Oh, yeah.
So
Mhm.
it was just 1, 2, 3.
Okay. By course or just number rooms.
And the 1, 2, 3, that's just automatic. So you don't have to
Okay.
type that in.
Okay. Or just use the numbered rooms. Okay. let's see. Let's see. To pass on student ending times. How did you do that, Bridget? You might have just gone in and done it yourself because you had Tutor Lab access.
Yeah, I was able to just go in myself, but then I, like a couple of times, I just asked the lead tutor, so I would ask Joran if all the students had signed out, and if they hadn't, I would tell them the time that they signed out.
Does that make sense when I said it? Anything else?
The only other thing I thought of was to make sure that they have their screen on. So there's a physical presence, or not I mean, like, you can actually see someone when you're entering in, because I think that is sometimes confusing to students if there isn't.
Yeah. Should
Having
we
video
tell,
on is a big
should we
thing
tell
for
these
sure.
people that? The
We could just tell them to remind greeters that.
okay, yeah. Maybe we'll just say it will probably be slow this week, so take time. Yeah. Maybe I'll just say if you're interested, here are the notes.
We might want to check for Thursday too, because I think Logan's the only CS tutor working, and I don't know that he was planning on coming in person. So I can double check with him to make sure.
Oh,
see if he
okay.
can come in
Ask
person.
about that.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. Could you email both him and the greeter?
Sunday
that goes with
people?
him? Whoever the greeter is. That goes
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
That'd be great. Thanks. That might be true of the other single person then too. Huh?
Oh yeah.
So maybe we should just ask them if they want to.
Yeah.
Start now that they
myself.
have a greeter. So yeah, if you could do that, that'd be awesome.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? I'll add the link to the notes, but
Yeah. Not that I can think of.
okay.
Yeah, I think that should be good.
Okay. Thank you, Bridget.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for helping with the training too.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate it.
Yes. Off to math lab.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bridget, appreciate it.
Bye. Let's see. Here are the notes. Did we just say if you're interested, here are the notes, or glance over the notes? Maybe it'd be good for them to see those notes just so
Yeah,
that they.
I think it'd be good for them to glance over.
Yeah. Glance over these notes we covered. Okay. Should I add a little caveat? Anna will be checking on Thursday night. Is that the main night where the 2 singles are?
Yes.
Okay.
So do you think just to ask them if they're planning on coming in person, or?
Yeah, and just say that sometimes makes things easier for coordinating
Okay.
with the grader. So
Okay.
if it works, great. If not, let's make sure that the greeter knows so they don't show up to an empty room.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? I wonder if we should put, did you ever talk to Ben yet about the editing sessions video thing? About splitting?
Yes, I did ask him if he'd do it and he said he could, but I don't know. I'll double check right now if he has done it yet.
Okay. Because we could add that, I guess, to this as well then, about editing.
Yeah. Uh, okay. Yeah, I don't think he has re-edited that one yet, but I can double check with
Well,
him.
why don't we just, do you have a link to that video? Because we could just tell them start at second, whatever, you know?
Oh, okay. Yep.
And we could put that in. See this video. Let's see this video and watch from wherever. Wow, they had 4 people tonight in CS Lab, so that's good. Wow, and
pretty good attendance.
Scientific and data structures. So that's interesting also.
For more of the advanced classes, yeah, to be.
Yeah. So that's good to see.
Yeah, there's another session starting soon, isn't there? So it'll be interesting to see if more come tonight too. Oh no, it just
a one, yeah. What happened to this?
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking of Thursday for some reason.
Yeah. I don't know why this. There was one girl that just could not get into the stats session tonight.
For like the Zoom
Yeah.
link. Or...
She wants all of the Zoom links. I'm like, no. I wonder if this is a person that we need to, have you had any of that with like them having to go through and log out of Tutor Labs so that their role, gets corrected or whatever?
No, I haven't had any of that. I know that's one thing Naomi suspected like at the beginning of the year for like what was wrong with her when she was having issues signing in for making reservations.
Because this person is just trying to go to a virtual session, so. Looks like this person's never been to Math Lab before. So it's their first time.
Sorry about that. Sorry, what did you say?
It looks like this person's never been to Math Lab before, so it was their first time.
Okay.
So that was kind of a bummer that it didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that can be kind of discouraging. So hopefully they try again some night.
Yeah, yeah. Did you find the video?
Yes, I did. Sorry, I chatted.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. And then I was going to start scanning through it to see. Yeah, we might have to trim somewhere in the middle because I think she does show like the session control, but.
Yeah, which was it, number 2?
Yes, it was number 2.
Okay. So can I just give that direct link, do you know?
Okay.
If that
So
will work.
we had a student sign in now, so then
Oh, it always just goes to that folder, doesn't it? So I'll just tell them to see the second one.
Yeah.
Did you kind of find where the time was?
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
Around like 17 seconds, and then like 53 seconds is cutting in between those times, or maybe 54.
Like this? Does that make sense?
Oh, sorry, that's the time that they need to cut out.
Oh,
Or,
okay.
yeah.
So what time should they watch from? 54?
From 0 to 17 and 54 to the end.
Okay. From the beginning to there, and then I hope that they understand that that's just a little short, and watch and find that and watch this short video. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that'll be good if he can edit that. Is
Okay.
there something at the beginning that like sets things up? Is that what they need?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So maybe tell Ben that to keep that on both parts. If he
Okay.
makes two, one for seat assignment and one for editing sessions.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank
Have
you.
a good rest of the evening.
Yes, you as well.
Bye.
Bye.